We had the debate, and it's the one debate in my career, and as God is my witness, the one debate when we took the roll call, and that bill required 11 votes in order to be sent up to the governor for a signature. You could not hear a pin drop. The silence was deafening in the chamber. You know, whatever the human, whatever the political dynamic, I rose, made my comment in support of the bill. We called the roll. There were 11 votes, the 11 needed. So, I mean, you know, I have fond memories of
You were
of
one
your
of that
father.
majority that put that bill over the top.
Correct. And then fast forward 2013, we had a bill, you know, with DNA and the number of those that have been convicted of felonies and sitting on death row. We had the bill that would abolish the death penalty. Now here time moves forward, and I studied the issue. I talked with many in the community, including Pastor Beeman, and again, the roll call. I know that bill and that issue, the issue itself had an adverse effect, and there were African Americans that were wrongly accused and executed. And I voted 11 votes once again to support abolishing the death penalty, because I believed that it's a fairness issue and that we needed to change Delaware law. Now, unfortunately, the bill moved over to the House, and it did not get a proper debate and was never voted on.
But you were there and you voted in a very positive and supported that.
Yes.
And sent it to the House members. Bobby, let's talk about your committees, chairmanships of various committees, and the committees that you're on of very importance that you get to almost kind of get first pick at because of seniority, having been there for a while or whatever. What are some of the important committees that you're on? I think chairman of public safety or something, and help us with that one.
Yeah, Herman, I want to say we're covering a lot of territory here today.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know we'd be branching off, but I do, you know, enjoy the opportunity. And I chair the Senate Labor Committee, and we deal with all issues relating to labor, industrial relations, minimum wage, prevailing wage, collective bargaining, you name it, we deal with it. There have been efforts to have right to work legislation in Delaware, which would be devastating to our workforce here in Delaware. That legislation is studied carefully and remains in my committee. And I also have the opportunity to chair the Senate Public Safety Committee.
All right.
And we had a recent controversy that I weighed in on regarding the medical examiner's office and the controversy regarding
Let's talk about that a little bit.
evidence, and there was outrage throughout this state regarding an employee of the state responsible for the management and integrity of the evidence provided through law enforcement to that building, allowing through lack of management and, as we ended up learning, alleged criminal activity, and the individual continued to be on the payroll. We got a bill in, and we now have a new division that is responsible for the state medical examiner's office. The employees are okay, they're now comfortable, the transition has occurred, and there will be a new director responsible for the operation and integrity of the state medical examiner's office.
In that this hour, this program has been nurtured, created, and authorized to the point where there were pretty well everybody in town that had cable hitting into about 10 minutes of 9 would be in front of their TV set, Senator Marshall, because of the rough and tumble Dr. Representative Allo Plant and how he created and used this program as his soapbox, if you will, his vehicle to get his message out and to highlight issues and encourage people to get involved and all that.
You know,
you were a good
Herb,
friend of Al's.
I got to jump in. No, let me
come
tell
on,
you.
come on.
I had an issue once regarding getting an editorial that I had submitted to the News Journal, an op-ed piece published. I'm calling the editors. What do you know? Why haven't they published it? It happened to do with healthcare reform and nursing reform.
Okay.
I said, Al, I need to come on one night. You know, get me on so I can go after the editors. And that it showed up in the News Journal in the editorial column a couple days later after the Sunday event. No, Al had power. Crossfire works.
Yes, yes.
It works
Talk
under
about your
you,
relationship
Julius,
with Al over
when
the
Norman
years.
had it.
Right, yes, yes.
A lot of influence.
Yes, the guys
God
kept
bless
it
you.
going. They
Keep
kept
up
it
the good
going
work.
very well. And talk a little bit about Representative Hazel D. Plant. You knew Hazel way back when Al first got elected and all that. Hazel comes to Dover, and again, all of us were such close friends working daily in leadership. Hazel Plant and the Organization of Minority Women and the big Martin Luther King breakfast and whatnot. Talk a little bit about Representative Hazel D. Plant and how you knew her as a beautiful person.
Hazel was the opposite of Al, but you know, that strong, committed, passionate public servant who, I mean, she could sit you down and quietly have a conversation, and you knew where Hazel came from.
Say the same thing, but differently.
And he understood it. You know, she didn't be on crossfire, taking out the big hammer like Al and looking you in the eye. No, I mean, Hazel had an effective and a very kind way of getting her message across, and she was highly effective in Dover.
Yes.
Working with her.
Yes,
highly effective.
You have been blessed to have shared the Senate seat of the 3rd Senatorial District for many a year now. And there are a lot of seniors in and around that east side, Bob McGee, who's passed, and a lot of those folks there that have supported you. You've helped some of them in and around those high rises and things. Senator Marshall, a lot of them are sitting right there out there in front of their TV sets, watching this program if they haven't fallen off asleep. And I would just ask you to kind of talk with them out there in TV land and all over as to why you feel that they should remain supportive and allow you to be reelected as state senator. Will you talk to them right through that TV camera there?
Herman, thank you. As the CEO of Kinder Morgan had said that, you know, Senator Marshall's a man that likes to fight. If the issue is about the people that I've been honored to represent, and if they're adversely impacted, I'll go to the battlefield, and we'll fight, and I'll use all of my capacity and experience to get things done on their behalf. And one quick issue, what concerns me a lot, I've been all over the district, been down on the east side. About a month ago, I was down, did a lot of time around the 9th and Pine area, Central Baptist, Pastor Keeling and others. I met the residents, we talked, went down, we managed, there were some residents there that had health issues, delivered a few air conditioners. I had a group of young guys that were probably 4 to 7 years old help me right there at 9th and Pine install one of the air conditioners. We talked. Those kids they had more energy. They had, you know, they had the life, and yet when you look around the neighborhood at the housing, the public safety issues, there were 2 killings within about a 10-day period right in that 9th and Pine area. We need to provide those children with more opportunity. We need to commit more money to our public education system. We need to do more in Wilmington. There's something structurally wrong here, and I'm willing to dig in, take a look at it. I've had some research done. I've read over the Wilmington report on our education system back from 2007, 2008, back to 2002-01. You know, I'm ready to dig in and do something about public education in this city and county.
Let me ask you something else I'd like for you to talk with our viewers about, Senator Marshall. The effort that goes in, the preparation and time spent on studying an issue and learning the facts about it, and then from there trying to come up and talking with folks to create a piece of legislation that will impact that or might help that along, and then trying to get your colleagues to be so supportive. Some will jump on as a co-sponsor, but getting the votes to be able to move it out of the Senate and then send it to the House. And then from there, your work is not done. You got to help get passed through the Senate, through the House, where you kind of talk about the process a little bit. These things aren't easy, magic wand and just go down and go do this. These things take time, a skill, a learning, a way along the experience to be able to get these done. Will you talk to our viewers for a couple minutes about that?
Sure. Yeah, briefly, one example of today, on August 27th at the Ch Center in Wilmington, beginning at 1 p.m., a bill that I sponsored that created a low-wage service worker task force will be conducting a public hearing. There are issues about wages regarding the McDonald's and other retail companies like McDonald's. There are issues about laws regarding proper treatment of employees, and a public hearing will be conducted. The result of that public hearing may be that service workers in all of our economy that are usually at the low to the middle end of our wage earning level will have more attention, and hopefully we'll find a way to improve their work environment and Delaware law applying fairly and equitably to help them and to protect their interest.
And the date again and time?
Yeah, August 27th, beginning at 1 p.m. at the Ch Center. Public hearing. So I would encourage, that is democracy at its beginning and how a bill will evolve between now and January.
Thank you very much. Senator Marshall, I want to thank you for joining me here. I hope that a lot of you sitting out there in TV land have learned a lot about the process, the way things go, and the experience and involvement of the leadership that is provided, that is a tremendous help to us in our community by Senator Robert Marshall, who's up for re-election, as he's asking for your continued support. Until next time, Herman Holloway Jr., see you again on next Sunday at 6 p.m. God bless.
Senator Bob Marshall. He works for us. His record proves it. Please vote for Bob Marshall in a Democratic primary on Tuesday, September 9th, 2014. For additional information, please call 302-561-0890. For his entire Senate career, Bob has led efforts to increase the minimum wage. This year, Bob secured an immediate increase in the hourly wage to $7.75, with an additional increase to $8.25 in 2015. He is now fighting for an increase to $10.10 in 2016. Bob is working to help our returning military veterans find good jobs in Delaware. Bob has continually worked with organized labor, state officials, and private business to protect existing high-paying jobs and bring new jobs to Delaware and the Port of Wilmington. Over a decade ago, Bob got legislation enacted to increase hourly bedside care for nursing home residents and requiring criminal background checks for nursing home employees. Bob was a co-sponsor of Delaware's Seed and Inspire scholarship programs, which have provided free college tuition for more than 6,500 deserving young high school graduates. Bob has succeeded in passing legislation amending Delaware's Constitution to allow judges to deny bail to habitual violent offenders when they are arrested for a new crime. Please vote for Bob Marshall in Democratic primary on Tuesday, September 9th, 2014. He works for us, and his record proves it.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody.
My name is Albertina Walker, and I used to sing with Robert Anderson. And Robert was retiring, and this was his last recording when we was at the studio. And the record company asked me to record. And I didn't want to record by myself. I always wanted to sing with a group. And Mr. Allen and Mr. Simpkins, they were the proprietors of the record company. And the record company was United States. States was the gospel label, and United was the secular